What is going on, everybody? It's your boy, Alex G, alongside Malin. This is the A Couple of Things podcast where we are here to talk about a couple of things. How are you doing?
I'm sick. Oh, couldn't hear myself.
Messing up the audio.
For the listeners, you know me, I'm a world international traveler. Just came back from Charlotte today for my cousin's baby shower. So I'm a little out of it. My voice is you could tell it's a little raspy today because I'm running on like 2 hours of sleep. And I hung out with my friend. So I'm a little out of it. But I'm here for you guys. So appreciate us.
What? No.
Yeah, because I'm sick.
They should appreciate us. We shouldn't appreciate them.
Babe,
I don't think that's how that works.
I'm sick, baby.
Anyway.
You didn't have COVID? I don't think I have COVID. But I don't wear my mask on the plane.
The mask doesn't help.
It doesn't help.
When are we going to get rid of the masks?
That's what they did. They got rid of it most places. The only time I had to wear a mask was in the Bahamas, right? To fly in the Bahamas.
The CDC said it doesn't work. Like, why? Like, why are we still doing this?
Like, think about it. Let's really think about that. You're on the plane. You have your mask on. You're still in the plane.
You're still
and then they said you could take the mask off to eat your snacks. So yeah, the COVID's gonna take a break while we eat snacks.
I know so much, and I don't really want to get into the COVID thing, but there was so much performative tasks that we had to do that, like, now it's like, okay, like I knew it was performative before, but now, like, why are we continuing this?
It was so performative. Like the way people are now, like, guys, the pandemic's not over. Wear your mask, and it's like the masks really. They
never did anything. They never did, but they had no other way to try to make it look like they had a hold on things or had an understanding of things. They still don't understand how this thing works.
The mask did not work, and it's like COVID. Like, I think people underestimate human life or just life in general. A disease is a very microscopic thing. You think a mask that is not completely sealed around your nose and mouth, the COVID is going to be like, oh, she has a mask. No, it's going to go, and the mask, someone proved it. If you spray water through it, it's still slightly stuff comes out. The masks are not, what's the word, permeable? It's not.
It is permeable.
It is permeable, yeah. So it's weird.
It's not correlated, but it is funny to see the people that got the most amount of shots have gotten COVID the most.
Literally, people who got vaccines right away. Me and you have not got COVID. Okay, you know what the solution is? To not be in everybody's faces. Like, people want to say what the solution is. What's the solution? We be home. That's the solution. Like, stay out of people's faces and be clean. We eat healthy, which could have an impact. Even if we did have it, we didn't know. We eat healthy. We are clean, like we wash our hands a lot. Like, you know, we have hand sanitizer always in your car. Even before COVID, there was always hand sanitizer in our cars. We put hand sanitizer on every time we come home, wash our hands. People are just nasty.
People are very nasty.
People are nasty, and people are always out and about. We did not get COVID. And we got our vaccines last minute because we had to for work. I didn't want that vaccine, I can promise you. And I'm mad that now we don't really need it. I'm kind of mad. I trust my immune system. I'm not an anti-vaxxer. I just trust my immune system. Like, it's my body, my choice, right? Abortions.
You know what's crazy? And this is a wild topic to intro the pod. There was this one, and I'm not speaking, I don't know either one of their names. I'm not doing my journalistic responsibilities and finding them. But the way that they're trying to, it's just, I see a lot of, like, idiocy and, like, I don't even know what they are, like congressional meetings or hearings or whatever it is, like whatever they're talking about with or the Senate meetings or whatever it is. I saw this one, I think she was a law professor, like trying to really accuse this guy of being transphobic. Did you see that?
I think I know what you're talking about.
It was like, I'm like, yo.
What was, give a little more context. I'm not sure if I see that.
I'll give more context to the best of my ability. So essentially, it was a clip of a conversation and some sort of hearing about abortion rights and things of that nature. And one of the people defending it, of course, seemed like a liberal black woman, law professor at a university. and she tried to flip it on one of the, I don't know what he was, senator, congressman, whoever, I don't know. And he just simply asked, because he was trying to get clarity, right? And here's the thing. He was trying to get clarity on if their position about abortion rights was to try to, like if it was a women's human rights issue, or if it was a broader thing, because I think that what happens typically with these human rights and everybody tries to pile on and jump into whatever is being fought for.
Yeah.
So there's questions about like, because this whole thing was about women's rights, women's abortions. So his question was like, okay, well, are we recognizing trans people?
Yeah.
Because like,
because they said they're women.
Yeah. So he's like just trying to get clarity, and then she just went off the rails and like was calling him transphobic and all this other stuff, and it was just like, it was weird to watch.
I don't think like I hate how like it's such like a thing to call somebody, like people be so quick to call somebody racist, homophobic, transphobic. People love to use the word phobic. Like people like to have that outrage. I think he was just being funny. He was trying to use, like, I don't think that's being transphobic. I think that's a genuine question. Because it's like, if you are saying that I'm a woman, then aren't we including you in these conversations? You know?
Yeah, so it was Republican Senator Josh Hawley, who was accused of being transphobic by Kiara Bridges, who was a professor at UC Berkeley School of Law. I don't know if I play this, if we're going to be able to hear it on the audio, like out of my laptop, because obviously the audio was hooked up to my laptop. But yeah, it was just weird.
Like obviously he was trying to be provocative, right? Like it's obvious he was being provocative.
I can't tell.
But at the same time, yeah, he might not been.
Because it is a genuine question.
It's a genuine question.
Because this was posed as a women's rights issue. So we're saying, well, is it women's rights, or are we also including other groups as well? Now, if he was being sarcastic, which he probably was. He probably was, but like, still in the sarcasm is like, we do need clarification on that, because you do have to include those other groups if you want to recognize those other groups. Now, I'm trying to put the closed captioning on to see if it'll caption it, but it doesn't look like it will.
Is it on?
Yeah, it's playing, but.
Many cis women do not have the capacity for pregnancy. There are also trans men who are capable of pregnancy, as well as non-binary people.
Wait. Trans men. So women are turned to men.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, for context, guys, and I didn't mean to get into this topic, but I just happened to come across it earlier because they couldn't hear what was just being said. So,
she looks crazy. Why do you always look bug-eyed?
Josh is trying to confirm what groups of people are
included in this.
Because
that is confusing. Trans men, you're now saying, is included in women's rights.
Right.
So it's like, but then why are we titling this women's rights?
Right.
It should just be titled capable. But this is when heterosexual like me get mad. Cause why we had to relabel stuff because they want to relabel themselves? Like why did it has to be?
Oh God.
No, but why did I actually heard a trans person
get canceled.
No, but I actually heard a trans person call like people like me like okay, I don't want to be mean, but people like me, they call us birthing people. Nigga, I'm not no birthing person. I'm a woman. Don't play with me. I'm not no birthing person. Don't try to rename me. And then even the whole cisgender, why do I have to have a title? I'm just a woman. Like, why do I have to be a cis? Like the CIS? That means straight. Or like, just you were born as a man, you're cis and you're straight. You're a cis man.
How's that different than hetero?
Yeah, right. Like, why did we remaking all these names? Like,
I don't. That was a genuine question. I actually don't know. I don't do much research into this stuff.
My whole thing is with stuff like when Black people and like Black Americans, when we fight for our stuff, we don't try to relabel other things unless it's rooted in like racism. We just create our own labels. So we create our own name for our lineage. So if you're a trans person or gay, whatever, you create your own labels. But why are you creating labels for me? Like, don't do that. That's what I got an issue with. So that's why, that's where it gets confusing, because what are we supposed to say? Birthing people's rights? Like, no, it's women's rights. Like, why do we have to change it now? Like, why do we have to now tiptoe around because some men could get pregnant? Like, no, I'm sorry.
I wish I could play the video and everybody can hear it, because basically she then accused him of being responsible for trans people committing suicide and For the
And
way.
why are you trying to put that burden on somebody? Like, that's evil.
Yeah, it was kind of nuts. Like, you know what the thing is?
And what are the comments looking like?
The comments are looking how I feel.
Yeah.
So the thing about these sort of topics is I think that the binary duality, the dual partisanship, is that what it's called? Where there's just in everything there always has to be an extreme. Nobody lives in the middle, right?
Yeah.
Or lives skewed somewhere, or skewed to the left, skewed to the right. Like, everything is always extreme. It's like, if you believe in this thing, then you're going to take it to the extreme. And if you believe in that thing, you're going to take it to the extreme. Mm-hmm. There needs to be people that just live in common ground. And to me, common ground doesn't mean
phobic.
It doesn't mean
like you're against it, one side.
Yeah, or for anything. Yeah, it just means
you're just living your life.
I think living in the middle is like the logical thing, right? So
that's how I am. I don't care what anybody does, as long as it don't affect me.
While I do
live your life and live your titles or whatever you want to do, fine. But don't try to push it on me. Don't have me having to change the words I use for myself. I don't like that.
I get, in this instance, Kiara, like, I understand people have that, we are the people, we are the world, we want everybody to have rights to everything. Definitely nothing wrong with that. Never debating that. But when you see so many instances of people that have that mentality take it to like extreme measures. Like, he literally didn't say anything. He was asking a question, and then it was like...
And it gets to the point where they be trying to dox you. Like, this could be happening on Twitter. Next thing you know, they looking for your jobs and stuff and accusing you of transphobia. Like, they're psychotic.
Now you can have people sending death threats to their house.
Anybody who's extreme, I always say this, like, this is always my thing when I judge people. I think extremists of any type of thing are mentally ill. I think, because, like, how are you that outraged? Like, something's not right up there.
You throw mentally ill on everybody.
Okay, I do. That's why I made it. That's why I said it. Yeah. And it's not me being. It's not me saying that to be what's the word, like, provocative, whatever. I'm saying that literally, like, mental illness is such a taboo thing that no one likes to talk about. So I'm taking it actually in a serious way. It might sound like I'm joking, but I'm actually being dead serious. Like, people are walking around with mental illnesses, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so he's just asking, like, are we recognizing that this is a women's issue, or what are we recognizing this as?
And she's like laughing. What's funny? Like, that's a genuine question.
And because...
And not all women could give birth, right? Like, so how is it a women's issue? Not all women could give birth if some of them have penises. Like...
Yeah. So it was just interesting. I didn't mean to, like, really, like, kill her specifically about this, but it's just... it was just interesting.
The mindset is interesting.
Because what bothers me about education nowadays is that it's the too woke culture. Like, everybody's too woke for their own good. And when you have people in an education profession, whether it's a professor or somebody down to kindergarten, when you have the too woke culture teaching your kids, it becomes very... because I almost feel like there was no bias, at least when we were in school, in terms of the material that was taught. Mm-mm. Like, we missed out on a lot of historical information that we could have learned in history class, social studies, whatever they called it. We definitely missed out on a lot of those things. Like, the slavery discussions weren't really about slavery. Like, and civil rights, you weren't really taught about.
We weren't really taught about Black history prior to slavery,
right? So or just Black history in general.
Yeah, we grew up with the idea that we were just some useless, like, not useless, but like some poor Black slaves. Like, that's what that's the beginning of our history. When our history goes beyond that,
right?
So
I think that there was that little bit of bias there, but overall, in general, when you were in English class or you were in math or you were just anywhere, there was no bias associated with the education that you were receiving. But I think the too woke culture now with social media and the youth and people being on TikTok and We Are the World, liberals, and then also the I Hate Everybody MAGAs, all of, like, just the way everything is split, that those biases are going to come into the classroom. Mm-hmm. And then now your kids are going to either be deprived of a certain education or they're going to start to be skewed in whatever way that specific teacher wants to do so. This
like
was
that.
worrisome.
I don't like that.
Because this is a professor. I'm not in law school. I'm not in law school, so this doesn't impact me in any way. But having somebody in one of the highest levels of education, if not the highest level of education, accusing someone of being responsible for the suicide of someone else based on a question as to is this a woman's right issue is extreme. It's like pretty crazy.
It's so
actually
irresponsible.
It's very irresponsible.
I always have to bring up, because I'm in my pro-Black American era. But that's someone else too. There was like this professor who I think he was Nigerian, and he was like teaching Black American history, and he has his own biases from his own personal life experiences that he was bringing to the classroom. And it's like, you can't do that. That's so irresponsible. And you're teaching someone else's history with your own bias. It's just so irresponsible. Like you said, when you're a professor at the highest level of like these top schools, you cannot be acting like this. Like, it's hard for any human to be unbiased, but you have to try your best.
It's kind of not, though.
It's kind of not. Like, you're just telling the facts.
Because facts are facts.
Nobody asks your opinion. No one asks your little side remarks. You ever have professors always have little side comments? Right. Nobody asks for that. Like, just teach the history.
Yeah, like for me, it's
even though history could be disputable, because white people write these books.
It's just whoever lived to see the day.
That's why I began my history from my ancestors. I began history from my elders, because these white people be lying.
But anyway, I didn't mean to lay on that topic forever, but it was just interesting. But I just don't like the extremism on either side, and I feel like with the liberal nature, and I'm not Republican, but like the liberal nature of the way social media is, everybody jumps on every wave, and everybody's fake activists, and we care about everybody, even though nobody cares about anybody.
It's all self-serving,
and it's like almost trying to overcompensate, and it's just as equally as destructive.
That's why I always thought like a lot of protests for me are cringy, because it's like the people are just overdoing it. Like the signs it's like, who's gonna have the best sign? Like
the social media viral sign.
It's no authentic people. It's just like the dramatics. Like, it's just so dramatic. People like the whole dramatic pose with the sign and like the fist in the air. It's like pride. It's like, then you go home and don't do nothing further. Like, you walked in a march that didn't really do anything. It's like, I don't know. Obviously, there's very genuine activists. I'm not saying that's not. Of course there are. That's what got us our rights in the civil rights era. But that's pre-social media.
Right, when there was no clout associated with.
There was no clout. There was no trying
hard. Nothing was recorded.
Yeah,
they weren't live streaming the hearings.
So they were authentic. Those were the real leaders out there. People now they want, like you said, the most viral sign. Like, they're not real. It's just like, it's very extreme. They want to seem like, yes, queen, look at her fighting for trans rights. Like, that's what that's what they want. She wants those comments. That's what they want. And you have the dramatic people. You're a hero.
And I question
speaking up for us. It's just so dramatic. People are corny.
And I hate this, right? Because this is one of those things where you're not even allowed to have your own thoughts or views on something. Because the second you go against a view, particularly the liberal view, the second you go against it, then you're deemed as the phobic, and we're going to get you fired.
And if you're a company, the company's canceled, we're protesting.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So it's unfortunate. But that's why I said I like to be in the middle, because while I feel like people should be able to do whatever they want with their bodies, there is a question as to who are we including in the rights from a law perspective, because she's a lawyer.
Yeah.
Or a law professor, at least.
In law, there has to be
specific.
That's why, we talk about reparations. It has to be specific. Who's entitled to reparations? It can't be everybody black, because that's too broad. They would turn that down. It has to be specific. What lineage, what group, whatever. Same with this. It has to be specific. Who's included in these rights? Because you can't just say women's rights, and then now you have a woman who's not a biological woman who might be included in those rights, and they might get special treatment for something,
Mm-hmm.
And it's like I said, in law, you have to be specific. So for her to even kind of laugh it off, it's like, what's funny? Like, that's a real question what he asked. Like, why is she laughing? And you see the look on her face. Like, she knows she's like, oh.
Yeah, it gets worse. But I also brought this up because I also saw a video of AOC getting cooked
she always be getting cooked.
Yeah, she always gets cooked. But it was just funny.
She's one of those kind of
Yeah,
activist,
performative.
to me,
Everybody loves me that has Twitter and all that kind of thing. So we just need to remove that. This wasn't about like a specific view, but just in general, there's so much.
It's a lot of layers to stuff that people don't like to. People don't like to dig deep. They like to look
Yeah.
at things on a surface level and don't like to see unpack it. Like,
And two things can be true, and that's where it's like, or a million things can be true at once. You can have a view on something in this specific regard, but you don't. Everything in totality of their view can't possibly be like true.
yeah, like people act like we're literally living in this world where nothing is linear. I guess you would say like that's unfair to say that if you feel a certain way about one thing that now you're transphobic. You feel one thing about this, now you're xenophobic. It's crazy, you know. Like you said, two things can be true. You could. As I always use this example, obviously the black stuff, but like you could be pro your ethnic group. That doesn't mean you're anti another ethnic group. But people will say that, oh, you guys are being divisive. You guys being xenophobic. How? Because we're showing pride for our group. Same thing, like people. I mean, that's why it does get tricky though. Because then you say people who are pro white, does that mean they're racist? Because that's white supremacy. It only is because of the history, I feel like. But then I don't know. You can still. Isn't that suck that nobody white can say I'm proud to be white because it comes across as racist? And what if you just are happy to be white? Like, what if you?
Yeah, because the thing is, while I feel like white people don't have as much of I think a lot more of their history is derived from violence and raping and pillaging the world.
Yeah.
To be fair, I guess
it's hard.
I guess to be fair is the right way to say it. Africans have done. They didn't spread all over the world, but at least within their own. There's history. Everybody has their own history, right? The Chinese have done that to themselves. The Mongolians and the conquest all over the place in Rome and
they were slaves all the way back. They enslaved their own color.
In America over here.
They enslaved by tribes in Africa.
Yeah, and
there was no race back over there. It's tribes.
The Mexican tribes, all of those things have existed for everybody.
Literally since the beginning of time.
So, yeah.
Right? Isn't that crazy? Like obviously, this is hard because it's like it's crazy. Like I was about to say, like it's crazy how like we do demonize white people so much because of white supremacy and how it's been global. But like you said, other races do that to each other too. Like obviously the effects on United States and America.
Let's be clear.
That's our enemies.
Nowhere close to the extent that that white people have. But there still is
their
everybody.
Genocides that they do in some of these continents and countries are horrible.
There's just no TV coverage over there.
Exactly. They're still doing barbaric things in these places. Barbaric. But the white man is the only enemy. Like, of course, in the United States, we're in the belly of the beast of white supremacy. Like, we're literally in the belly of the beast. So that's who our enemies are here, based off historical facts. But it's just a hypocrisy worldwide of it, you know?
And to clarify that whole part of the segment.
I know, because we go.
Because it was. Is it racist for white people to show pride?
Pride, yeah. Cause we be Black Pride,
right? Like,
and that's rooted obviously in could be overcame things, but it's like
we're gonna switch conversations. But I'm just gonna say this: there can be Black Pride, but African Pride is something different.
It is.
There's not really
and Caribbean Pride.
There's not as much of a history of extreme violence in Black American culture, even with them.
There's not, and that's what they be saying in some of these Twitter spaces I'm in. They're like, if you really think about it, we do stupid shootings to each other stuff, but
in Chicago, it doesn't amount anywhere close.
We love our ethnic group. We don't divide among tribes and stuff like that and kill our own, like even in mass like amounts, like genocides. There's no genocides among Black Americans. Like,
yeah. But anyway.
Yeah, I be passionate about my peeps. I'm sorry, guys. I talk about us a lot, but I'm just in a learning process right now of my roots and.
Yeah, you're definitely the person that read something on Wikipedia and is now trying to regurgitate it to everybody.
No, I just in these Twitter spaces a lot, so I'm like, getting the gospel.
And then regurgitating it to everybody.
I'm not regurgitating it, but I'm trying to stand up for our people for once because everybody wants to include themselves in us and kick us out of our own culture. So I just gotta say what it is. Anyways, well, yeah. Did we answer the question? Can white people show pride?
It's a tough one. I think
Because, you know, the Proud Boys, that's literally...
I think you would want to not do that just because the full extent of European destruction in the world.
Sorry to interrupt. Somebody had said there's like, you know how like in America created race. So white, black, all that was started here.
Mm-hmm.
So in other countries, they, you know, all around the world, they call each other by their tribe, their country.
Right.
So Italians, they don't say I'm white, they say I'm Italian.
Right.
I'm French. So it's interesting because when they show pride, like French pride over there, it's not really look the same as white pride here because white has a negative connotation in slavery.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you think white American, that's where the term white came from.
Right.
And so when you say that, it's rooted in slavery and racism and Jim Crow. So that's why it has a different negative connotation because it's rooted in the whole system was to oppress. The whole point of the white, black color system, yeah. So I feel like if you're from a different country, it's not going to be like, oh, I love my French roots, I love my Greece roots. Like people don't ever question that. So
it's a good point.
That's a good point. I was thinking about that.
Yeah, so now white people can't show white pride, sorry.
Yeah. Italians can if they live in Italy. You gotta live where you're from too, I think. If you're white. Because when you're here, you benefit from white supremacy in America. You benefit of the system that was built on racism here. So if you migrate here or immigrate here and you're white, I feel like you kind of can't.
How do we feel about that, right? Like, now that I'm thinking about it, how do we feel about people fleeing their countries?
You know how I feel. You trying to set me up.
And fleeing probably has an extreme definition to it of like running away from something.
But you are. Because I would never, like in my mind, I have no reason to ever leave the United States of America. We have everything we need here to succeed and prosper.
Do you think that you could still show pride for your own country if you leave it?
Of course. But at the same time, it's kind of like you have to think, you're representing a country you left behind. You left all the people that you love so much behind in those conditions. And I know you can't bring them with you, but it's like, why not stay there and fight with them and build up your land with them?
Well, you're taking something out. Like, somebody could leave from the UK and come to America.
Oh, well, yeah. And I'm just talking about like, I'm talking about refugees. I'm talking about like refugees, people who leave their country because it's so in bad shape that instead of fighting and standing up for their oppressor, they run. That's that. But, you know, if you leave like the UK, yeah, because I mean, unless you have a specific, because usually people from like other like first world countries, I guess you would say, they leave for what? You maybe jobs, like relocation. Like what? I do want to know what people's main reasoning is for. I mean, obviously besides refugees, opportunities, the American dream, the land of opportunity. So I'm gonna have the same feeling even if you're from a first world country. Because why not create those opportunities in your country? Why you have to? Why you're like, you know. If we think about immigration in general, immigration all started with them coming to the land of opportunity, seeing the Statue of Liberty, and like freedom. So it's like, instead of fighting for that where you're from, no matter if you're from a third world country or first world country, you're coming to get opportunities off of the backs of everybody before you that built it up, whether it's the slaves, whether it's, you know, the colonizers, whoever you want to give credit to for the building of this country. You're coming here and just kind of taking the easy way out, in my opinion. Yeah, you're still coming here and working hard in our system, but you're working hard in a system that's already built up instead of you building just that system in your country. Because he's like, oh, I bet, you know, the United States has the top universities in the world. It's like, why don't your countries have the top universities? You guys can make that happen in your country. Our country is like one of the newest countries in the world. Like we're still a new and pretty, like what? How old is the United States?
Does the U.S. have the top universities?
200-something years old, huh?
So does the U.S. have the top universities?
Maybe not the top, but we definitely in the top 50.
I feel like it has the most dense, good universities.
Because I know obviously there's something that's like lost in China that people go to. There's some probably in England.
Cambridge.
Yeah.
All of that kind. Okay. Let me see.
So the way I feel about people leaving the countries is the same for all bases. Because I feel like if you love where you live so much, you will make the place that you live into a land of opportunity for yourself and for all your fellow nation mates. I guess is the word, right? Mm-hmm. So I don't know. For me, it feels like an easy way out to come to a place that's where systems are already established. And all you have to do is just follow a blueprint that many people in front of you had to have trial and error. You know how many people had to die for America to be what it is? And then you just leave your people behind to come benefit of that. I don't know. I'm not against it. I sound like a build the wall Trumpy. I'm not. I think immigrants made America. It added to it, of course, and you meet so many people because of it, and we're supposed to be the melting pot. But sometimes you do have to question the coming here and demean. Sometimes they'll even demean, like, oh, America, like if you try to rep American flag, they'll be like, ew, why are you guys trying to rep the oppressor's flag? But then you came here though. You came to this oppressive country, so why are you mad that some of us want to rep our flag? Like, you rep your oppressor's flag. Why those like countries all around the world where the flags were created by British, the Spaniards, even when I bring up Africa, a lot of those African flags, those flags were literally designed and made by like whoever their colonizers were. And a lot of those countries are newer than the United States of America too.
I don't think people know that.
Yeah. And were made through colonization. So it's like kind of confusing. Because you're like, oh, you repping no oppressor's flags. Like, you repping your oppressor's flags too, nigga. Do your research. Like don't blame me.
Anyway, top universities in the world are Massachusetts Institute of Technology. This is based on topuniversities.com. Right? University of Cambridge in the UK, Stanford in the US, Oxford in the UK.
Cambridge in the US and the UK? Mm. Makes sense, right? Because they is in Boston.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
United States, United Kingdom.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a Cambridge in Boston. It was in Massachusetts, and that's 13 colonies. Okay, so it makes sense. What's number 3?
Stanford.
Okay.
Oxford in the UK,
Oxford, yeah,
Harvard and Cambridge, US. Pasadena is the California Institute of Technology, Imperial College of London in the UK, UCL in London, ETH Zurich in Switzerland, and University of Chicago in Chicago in the US. And it keeps going on.
Peking, number 12.
But it goes
I've heard of Peking.
Singapore, China, US, China, UK, Switzerland, US, Singapore, US, Hong Kong, US, Japan. So there's a lot of
I said. Yeah, I said Asian countries, London, the UK, and the US.
Yeah.
So that's why I feel like there's not a lot of immigrants from the United Kingdom. Because they're where our predecessors came from. Our school's not on that list. Don't play. You play too much.
What? I just want to see.
Our school's not on that list.
No, it's up here.
Our school's not on that list.
We ain't even ranked.
But yeah.
Anyway.
But it makes sense. No, but I'm saying it makes sense.
Get into your other topic.
No, but okay, yeah. I'm saying real quick, it makes sense though, because we come from, well, not we, but like the people who colonized this country or whatever, or created this country, came from London. So that's, that was like the other world that a lot of people came from. So it makes sense that, in the United Kingdom it's a very old establishment, a very old country. Or it's not even a country. What is it? Is the United Kingdom? Isn't the United Kingdom made up of 3 countries? England, Ireland, and what is it? Babe.
I don't know.
England, Ireland, and Scotland? Is that the UK? No, you know there's the UK, there's England, and then there's London. People confuse the 3. No, wait, people confuse Great Britain, the United Kingdom, and England. England's a country. Great Britain is like an area. I forgot what, 2 countries or something. United Kingdom is all 3. Got it. Why are you looking at our school? Our school's not on the list, babe.
It is.
It's on the top of New Jersey.
179 in the country.
For public schools or all schools?
For
public
national universities. Anyway, get into your other topic about black people.
Do black men like natural hair?
Black men love natural hair. I'll be the black man in this conversation.
Okay. A little background for anybody who might not know. There's this girl on TikTok, and her video went super viral on Twitter. You could tell was one of those black girls that grew up in a white neighborhood. I could just tell. Had her natural hair out, and she was like basically saying how she's tired of who cares if their hair has shrinkage? This is my lazy. Go out, this is how the hair grows. And I'm agreeing with her. This is how the hair grows out of my head naturally. Why I be doing all this manipulation? Just spray it and go, right? And I was like, okay. I was like, yes. I was feeling her until she said this. She's like, I do wear my hair like this. Only white men approach me, and I was like, hold your horses. Hold your horses. I was like, my whole thing is, of course, people speak off of their experiences. I get that. But I'm like, is it your hair or is it your face? Because no offense, she wasn't, I don't like to call people ugly, but it's not like she was like the most stunning person I've seen in the world. So it's like, I think sometimes it's like they try to do a cop out. They need a scapegoat. And in her instance, she feel like, I don't get approached by black men when my hair is like this. But it's like, okay, so yeah, you can speak on your experience, but don't make it seem like black men don't like natural hair, because that's kind of like what she was like insinuating. And it's like, your experience is not universal. And I try to understand that for me, because I know a lot of times I speak of my experience, but I'm also play devil's advocate. I can see both sides. I understand that. But I need everybody just to stop with all this. All men are this because of your experience. All women are this because of your experience. All these people are this because of your experience. No. Men like natural hair. You just haven't found... black men like natural hair. You just haven't ran into any that do. And that's okay. It might be more than your hair. It might not be your hair. Don't try to use your hair as a scapegoat, right? You just might not be the person that they're attracted to. I don't think anything wrong with that. So then, to go further, this was kind of weird and wrong, but it's funny that he did it. A black man made a Tinder or a Hinge account with her picture just as an experiment. He got like tens and 20s. What's the word? Like tens and tens of DMs. I don't know how apps work, but hits. I don't know what you call it. But people were hitting, swiping left. I don't know. Trying to hit her up, basically, whatever it is.
So they messaged her.
Yeah, they messaged her. I don't know how dating apps work. Like, I don't use that stuff. Old-fashioned way is the way to go. So obviously, this started a whole thing on social media, and black men were saying we do like natural hair. Black women were saying black men do like natural hair. Like, we all have experiences where we're approached the most with natural hair, and if anything, black men are usually the most vocal about how they do like natural hair. But then what happens when black men say we like natural hair? We don't care what you guys like. We didn't ask. We're going to wear our wigs. We don't wear our wigs for you. We don't wear our makeup for you. Nobody asked your opinion on what you like. But then in the same breath, they're gonna tell the internet that you don't like natural hair. So they're gonna tell the world what you don't like, but when you try to tell them what you do like, you get turned down, saying we don't want to hear what you like. It's literally insanity. A lot of these women are literally insane and crazy. So as a black man, I already told Twitter my experience. I could tell the podcast real quick. You have said every single time I my hair was out that you like it like that. You hate when I had the wigs. You hate when I had the braids and I had the wig cap on. I just look crazy. Like, you like when my hair is out. You like touching my scalp. Anytime I have my hair out, you usually play with my scalp, like, just instinctually. So it's like, I don't know where these women are getting this idea from. Like, I've gotten approached with my natural hair. Honestly, most times when my natural hair is out on social media, is usually when I get like the most likes on like a post, or I post a video of my natural hair and it's like, oh, lion's mane, like so nice. So I don't know where these girls are living, where this is their experience, but they need to go out. A lot of people don't live in the real world. I feel like a lot of people live online, and they see these Instagram models and stuff. And like your point that you made too, women are the reason. Women push trends. So of course the men that these women have are going to be on trend. That doesn't mean that these men don't like natural hair. They're just dating girls who are wearing wigs because of other women that perpetuate wigs being a trend. Like, if natural hair was a trend, these men would still be dating these girls. So it's not men. They think that those are their preference, the wig girls. It's like, no, these wig girls are just following trends that you perpetuate. All these girls repost Jada Waiter every week. So other girls think that's what they need to look like, and men just say, okay, if this is how girls look right now, this is how girls look. They don't care. So I don't understand where this whole idea that men don't like natural hair came from. But people need to go outside and go live a little, and maybe look inwards and be like, maybe it's not my hair. Maybe it's not my hair. So from a man's perspective.
All right, next topic.
No, from your perspective, you're a black man.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
You are. So
I wasn't sure if I was.
You are.
Am I?
Mm-hmm.
Thanks. In my opinion, and we had this conversation the other day, I hate everything about the beauty industry. I think a lot of it's rooted in racism, the straightening of the hair and things to make your skin lighter, and
I know smaller.
I know everything. Yeah, contouring, and we gotta take down my features, and I gotta line this a certain way so it looks like this. And while not all aspects of makeup and beauty is to try to take away your ethnic looks, a lot of it was rooted in that, and it's become something else. But the industry in general, it's like, first of all, it's crippling people economically. Like, people are spending so much money on hair and nails and makeup and all this other stuff.
You have no idea.
Can't
It's
afford it.
so expensive.
No,
Yeah.
no. Listen, I see the.
It's crazy.
I look at the financial data because that's the thing. Like, I could look at LVMH's financial reports right now and see specifically how much money is being spent on beauty and healthcare. Healthcare is different because that's like,
it gotta be billions.
no,
a
it
year.
is, it is billions a year. It's not even close. LVMH is the owner, Bernard Arnault, is one of the most, what is he, top eight richest people in the world, and he owns Sephora and all that.
You see when I be dragging you to the mall, Sephora, Ulta, Mac, they be packed every single time.
And to me, it's like, yo, like, it don't, like, every time I see it, it's like, damn, like, they're not selling product. They're selling like Band-Aids for what's the word? Insecurities.
Yeah, and they know how to profit off insecurities.
Yeah. And I know not everything is like that, and I know, you know, you're gonna get hit with the feminists. You know, I do makeup because I like it and all that. And while I don't disagree, what's also okay is just saying, accepting that.
Yeah, accepting that.
Like, it's okay to
Yeah.
say that you're insecure about your face and you want to cover up some blotches and shit like that.
Yeah.
It's okay for that to be a thing.
That's me.
But
I
don't say it's
that
not.
I hate my eyebrows. My eyebrows are sparse, and I need to add stuff to it because my face looks better when I have full brows.
Yeah, like, don't say.
I'll admit that.
Don't try to sit in my face and tell me you're spending thousands of dollars a year, possibly tens of thousands of dollars a year, on products and hair and nails and stuff like that because you want to.
Yeah.
You don't want to. Like, you can't go out the house without putting on makeup. You're trying to tell me that it's because you want to. No, you don't want to look a certain way. You're trying to cover up insecurities.
Yeah.
And these
you
companies.
I feel more confident with makeup.
And these companies are making money off that. I prefer my women to look like women, like actual human.
These companies make money too of the aging thing, the whole anti-aging.
Yeah. No, just be old.
Yeah.
Like, it's
Aging
okay.
is a beautiful thing. You know how many people didn't make it to 25? Like,
You know how badly I want to grow gray hair? Like, and I know men, yeah, for real. I know men, gray waves, crazy. I know men are different because men don't care about stuff like that, but I just see the peace and harmony in that. Like,
but see, then women, what they might respond to you saying this, they blame men for the beauty standards.
But men never create the beauty standards.
Yeah, they didn't.
Because
They never, even with the whole being skinny, this, that, they never really created it. Like, I think we talked about this last time. The only thing is what they seen. They just like the woman that they seen in their neighborhoods.
Yo, for real. If women, let's just say all women wanted to be, all women were wearing big clown wigs, like big rainbow colored clown wigs, are men gonna just stop all of a sudden wanting to have sex with women? No, they're not.
They're gonna be like, I guess this is the trend today.
All right, we on this now.
Yeah.
Like, right, just with the colored wigs. Like, do you think us in high school was like, I want a girl with a platinum wig?
Yeah.
Like, no, nobody, no.
With the swoops and the big baby hairs.
I love them big Tyrannosaurus pterodactyl claws they put on. No man has ever said that. Like,
Yeah.
no, men really don't care. Men don't push beauty standards.
That's
Like I
true.
said, it's
And girls be trying to blame men though.
it's the women that clown other women for having small lips. Like, a guy might still clown a woman, but it's not to the extent that other women do it. Like, the whole, like, Bill Burr was just talking about on the comedy show that we were watching, like, women are so invested in tearing down each other that billions of dollars are spent on TV shows and billions of dollars are generated on, oh, I need this shapewear because this is what women are wearing and I feel insecure, blah blah blah. Like, all that's what the whole thing is about. So long.
Skims really started to. Skims is shapewear. People think it's clothes. It's literally started to like hold your stuff in, like your stomach, your arms. It shapes everything.
Yeah, but that's
And
mostly,
like Bill Burr was saying too, women will only gas up a fat woman because she don't see her as competition anymore.
yeah.
Like, so we are our worst enemies, but then we try to blame men. It's men's fault that we're like this. No, it's not. Like stop. Like,
Yeah,
we need
if
accountability.
If a guy, if you're like, if I like the picture, and I'm not saying about you and your specific personality, but just for example purposes, if I like the picture of an obese woman, it wouldn't even be a thought in your head.
Yeah.
If I like the picture of a girl and that's slim in a bikini on the beach, it's
Yeah,
like,
all of a
why are you
sudden it's
liking
like,
this?
Yeah, it's like, oh, so this is what you like.
But
It's
it-
like, but if you like the fat girl's picture, it's not this is what you like. It's like, oh, it's like
whatever.
yeah.
So it's just
That's
the
how girls
whole
are.
the whole beauty thing, I just don't like it. Like, I like my women to look like women. When we grew up, while makeup and all that kind of stuff existed, it wasn't as
It wasn't what it
popular.
is now.
It's not nowhere close to what it is now. It wasn't giant brands like Sephora and MAC and all these other things.
Even lashes, lashes became really a thing in the last 5-6 years. Like, people wore falsies before too, but these like lashes became a thing in the last 5-6 years. Like, these big lashes.
So it's just what I prefer. Like, natural hair. I think the nails are stupid.
Mm-hmm.
I think that you can make cool designs on nails, definitely, but I think it's stupid. They're not really functional.
Don't let them lie to you. These girls be like, we can still do this. It's like, it's uncomfortable. Like, please. Like, why be lying? It's not comfortable.
Lip fillers look stupid. It looks like your face got stung by a bee. All the facelifts and all that kind of stuff. Like, just get old. It's okay. I promise you.
Mm-hmm.
Guys are still going to want you. Maybe not the guys that you want. Not the 19-year-old boys that want you when you're 75.
Exactly.
The eyebrows never really did it for me. I know they do it for guys. I've heard that.
What? Some guys have thick brows.
Just the shapes, like the shapes guys apparently care about.
I know they care about like thick brows.
I've never said an eyebrow and was like, damn, I need that.
Yeah.
What other stuff? Getting waxed, not for me.
I mean, I feel like waxing is like half and half. I feel like obviously there's half of the group that do it for other men, like they do for men. But then there's people like me, like I do because it just feels better. Like it's so uncomfortable. Hair is so uncomfortable. It's like itchy. You're a guy. It probably itches for you too. You be itching. Girls wear more tight stuff. That's why.
Yeah. So basically, long story short, to get back to the actual point, yeah, all that stuff that women think men care about, we really don't. Like, it doesn't even, because it's not logical, right? That's the same reason why we don't like BBL bodies, because it's not natural. It doesn't compute.
The human brain wasn't even supposed to be attracted to that. You're attracted to what was naturally a born woman.
Right. So I don't like any of that stuff. Now, while we're still together and you were doing that stuff when we met, and you makeup and whatever else, you do it to a higher extent now.
Well, yeah, when we met, I just wore eyeliner, brows, and lipstick. I didn't even do foundation.
In general, to women's point, to speak to their point about what men push, I don't like that shit. But yeah, I'm still with you. And I would still be with someone else that did that stuff too, but it's not my preference. My preference is anti that. But if this is what I'm going to get, then I'm going to just take what I get, basically, kind of thing. But that's just how I feel. I think women need to know that they do look better without it. Honestly, I don't care who it is. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah, I feel you.
Like, there's some that can go through crazy transformations. It's like, damn, you look different. But it's almost like a damn, you look different, not like a damn, you were.
I mean, some guys do be. I mean, that probably is like the root of it. They're just shocked by the difference. Because some guys I do see on social media, they're like, whoa, put it back on. But
yeah, that's the thing, because it's the shock of the two.
So harsh. Some people's transition is so severe. I was like, oh no.
Because I would look at, like, it would be somebody like that. I'll look at them and it's like, okay, but then you show me what they look like with makeup on or without makeup on, vice versa, whatever the switch is. And it's like the contrast between the two is what's shocking, not necessarily that the person is so ugly without it.
It's just that you're comparing what they look like with all the
right. And it does make people look better. Like, makeup does make you look better. There's no way it doesn't.
Yeah.
It enhances everything. It gets rid of all the flaws. It makes people be able to shape their bone
eyes,
structure and everything the way they want to make themselves look better. It just does.
Yeah, it makes people's eyes look better. Like, some people their eyes look way more like enticing because they do the brows and they do the smoky. And
my preference is always going to be natural, because that's what I like.
Yeah.
Like, and if you look in the comments, like, guys will always describe exactly what they like. And you want to know what guys like? Guys like guys like anklets. Guys like women with white painted toenails. Guys like.
Yeah, but now you're saying that they do like some of the
some
nails
guys
and makeup stuff.
But I would makeup, if you want to count that.
Because the white toe thing is probably men that push that. Well, women probably wore it and the men said they liked it. Now that's why it's a thing.
Right.
Meanwhile, my toes are black.
But even if you take even if you take out the painted toenails.
Yeah.
Yoga shorts.
Ew.
Crop top. The bun with like the 2 strands of hair that come out right here, or like just like a messy bun, and that's it. Nothing else. Nobody cares about how your contour looks, Like you put the contour on your face, now you look like you built like a skeleton. Like nobody cares. Like men don't like that shit. And yeah, women don't want to. Women don't want to hear it, but yes, you do. We're in a civilization. We're in a food chain.
Yeah, don't you hate like this whole human?
We're in a
ego
biology.
Thing that,
No, we're here. We're here.
The human ego is just crazy that they try to ignore biology.
Yeah, no, we're here to find the best mate and have babies
and procreate, literally.
And that's it.
And that's okay. I don't care what men think. Yeah,
yes, you do. Yes, you do.
It's just be honest. Everybody wants to be so high, like higher than thou, and I don't need men. I don't need like it's just so like you guys are corny. It's so corny.
Don't need men, but that's men for money type shit.
Yeah, this is weird. Nobody ever just wants to humble themselves and be like, yeah, I need men, and men be like, yeah, we need women. Like we need each other. Or none of us would be here. Are you guys stupid? Like,
and y'all buying the makeup for the men. But
yeah, you don't need men, but you're doing everything in your power to attract a man. Like girls will swear they trying to attract so you're trying to attract other women. It's like, yeah, you're trying to look good for yourself, but we really have to think, what is looking good deep rooted in? Looking good is rooted in attraction. That's just life. Like that's the reason why. That's always why I always ask why. So why do you want to look good? For myself. But what is looking good rooted in? Attraction. That's it. Like you see other animals in the kingdom, they do like the feathers, the peacocks.
The girls that do 100 million squats a day trying to get a bigger butt.
Yeah, for what? To look good for yourself, or because butts is a sexual organ kind of.
Yeah. Why do you feel like it looks good? And the reason why is because
it's like a sexual
guys
organ.
like that.
Yeah, it's kind of like it's an organ.
Girls like that because guys like that. And they feel like it.
And like I was saying, like it's just natural. Like I was saying, like
and it's
the peacocks.
okay.
You ever see the peacocks?
Yeah, they be doing their dance.
The male peacocks open their feathers to try to impress the woman.
And they start shaking them.
Yeah. Duh. That's like what life is about. Like everybody needs to stop being so like life is so short and people are gonna be so miserable just living life is like this. It's just crazy.
Yeah. Bottom line, black men love natural everything, and we actually prefer natural hair.
And the crazy thing too, somebody tried to be like, who, you know, what? She said I went to a white school, I went to a black school. What school do you think I got judged for my hair more? Obviously, it was a black school because white people don't know. They don't know what our hair is. They like anything, even if it's a bad way. They don't know. And I was like, yeah, I know what point you're trying to get at. Yeah, it was black schools, but it wasn't black men. I never had any black man, except, I mean, they kind of get, black men do get infiltrated though in the culture. So if they see a wig sticking up, they know because they're so infiltrated because that's all they hear from the women in their lives, right? So if they see a woman's lace, they might be like, bitch, your lace is lifting. Like, just because that's what they know from other women, right? Their friends, their female friends, their family members, their moms. But growing up, all the insults I ever got about my hair were from black girls. There was no black man ever said anything about my hair.
Because we don't know the difference. Because I remember like that whole like, oh, her weave is this like that's not, men weren't saying that.
They weren't saying that.
We weren't saying that shit in high school.
Now you might, because like, you're so used to like, well, that's the culture, and then if you're arguing with a woman, you might say your lace is lifting, like just as like a joke.
We've been, if indoctrinated isn't the right word, I apologize, but indoctrinated
and not even willingly,
weird culture,
not even willingly.
It's because women want a gay best friend, and that's what their boyfriend.
Or if you're the boyfriend, they complain to you like, "Look at this girl's hair. Look at it." Like you're just sitting there getting brainwashed.
Men don't care. It's hair.
I had a bob in high school. These girls made fun of my bob, but now they got bobs. Like, cause I was ahead of the trend.
Listen,
they made fun of my ponytails. They made fun
hair.
of my real hair. Girls, black women.
Hair.
It's hair.
We had this conversation before, and it's a good thing we don't have a successful podcast yet because I'm sure I would get killed on some of these things, but yo, it's hair. Like
literally,
like it doesn't mean anything.
It's dead. It's dead cells.
Like even when women with short hair typically get clowned, being called bald.
Well, oh no. The girls with like the sparse little ponytail. I thought you told like the short haircuts. Girls, like the girls that be cutting their hair.
But
like
even just the short, like traditionally African short.
Yeah, the little fro.
Yeah, the little thing. Typically get clowned.
Yeah.
For that stuff, right? Who cares? Like, it's just one of those things.
I think it's literally his hair.
Where, like, it's just another thing where somebody wants to get a one-up on you in something, and that just happens to be one of them.
And
it's
women feel like hair is something that men are attracted to, long hair, so that's the root in the making fun of the short hair. You
know what the thing is? If anybody's ever read, I forget what the actual title is. It might just be Sneetches, but the Sneetches book by Dr. Seuss is literally like the culmination, like the epitome of an example of how this whole culture is with shit like that. And women's culture And for those of you that don't know, I haven't read the book. Basically, there was a whole group of creatures, and they were called the Sneetches, and it was almost kind of like a reference to like Hitler and the Jews, but
I think I remember,
the Sneetches, everybody that made it, it was kind of like also about wealth, people that were wealthy and people that weren't. All the rich Sneetches had a gold star, and everybody else didn't, and so all the ones with the gold star had all this privilege, and they just lived a certain way, and everybody else didn't. And it's like there was no difference physically between the two, except that one person had this and the other person didn't have this. That to me is like the epitome of women culture. And there's a higher thing with like wealth versus, rich versus poor. But women specifically like try to one up each other on every single thing. And hair is like one of those things.
Hair, and then it's makeup, and then it's how they dress, and then it's their bodies.
I hate when men get dragged into it because men don't care. Like men will be with a skinny woman, a overweight woman, a tall woman, a short woman, or whatever. Like we all have our preferences, but we'll end up with whoever we deem to be attractive. Like it's not as rigid as women like to think it is, and they try to put those.
They put that on you, like
on men. It's women's
like, do women really think men are sitting around here like my girl gotta have 30-inch wig, middle part. She gotta have lash extensions every 2 weeks. She gotta get her nails done. And some guys care about nails, 'cause they think that's like cleanliness. Okay, fine, sure, but she gotta get the almond shape. I don't like tapered squares. She gotta get almond shape. Like men are not doing that. Like girls be they want any excuse for the fact that they haven't been picked yet. They want any excuse for why they haven't found their mate or their soulmate or their husband. They want any excuse, and that's their excuse that they'll try to flip it like men are the ones that dictate these. No, it's not. Women are. The BBL thing, women started that BBL thing. It wasn't, you do hear Nicki say that it was started because she was in the studio and she heard Wayne's and like Birdman.
And we talked about this on the last pod that traditionally the women down south they eat a certain
way. They look like
way.
that, and that's all they know. It's not that they're.
So that's what they want.
Yeah, that's what they want. And who cares? Like you still love how you look. You don't need to try to look like that because that's what they like. There's men out there that will like you how you look. So you can't blame a man for that.
Wayne ain't ask her to go get it.
Yeah.
Go get any work done.
Same way some women just love they just swear that they won't date anybody at a certain height. Like this is what they like. And men can't control their height. Women can control their weight, but men can't control their height. So, I don't know. It's just weird. It's weird.
Who do you feel like is more interesting, men or women?
I think men who are emotionally involved could be more interesting. Because men who actually are tapped into their emotions and, aren't scared to show their true colors, are invulnerable, I feel like they're cool because then you could talk about anything with them. And then, unlike women who are so catty and everything's like a comparison and everything's like, I feel like men are just more, they live more free and don't really care about stuff like that. Like they're not thinking about the same stuff that women are thinking about. I feel like women are way more like thinking about the stuff that don't really matter.
Yeah, because I was thinking, I think women are probably still more interesting, but I feel like over time, I feel like women are becoming less interesting.
That's kind of more so. I think as society progresses and like all the things, we become, so many women are literally clones.
Attack of the Clones.
Looking the same, dressing the same, talking the same. Like that's why some girl made a joke today. I don't know if you saw Jada Waiter had like these 4 braids. It was like 1, 2, 3, 4, and I think apparently it was the braids. Like she wasn't actually gonna wear them out. Someone said that it was like for her wig, but girls thought that it was a style. So they started wearing that style, and then people were making fun of them because it looks crazy. Because and then people were like, this one girl said, like, y'all play follow the leader with Jada, and girls were getting mad at that. But I'm like, you guys do though. Like anytime Jada does something or anybody that they deem as like trendy and like as far as hair at least, they're so quick to jump on it and they don't realize it. City Girls were saying period. Yeah, of course people were saying point blank period. Like that's been a saying. But the way that the City Girls say it with the hand movement, you guys copy that. And now you guys all do that. Like you guys don't feel like clones. You guys all in your friend group is like period. Like you don't feel stupid. You don't feel dumb. Like is that even in your vernacular? I would never say that because that's not in my vernacular. I'm not gonna just I'm not gonna be just appropriate Florida culture all of a sudden because the City Girls are cool. That
part we gotta talk about that too.
Yeah, people appropriate other vernaculars from it'd be people in the UK saying period. Like,
Oh,
I'm like, you're
that's
not
a
even
whole-
from the United States.
That's a whole other conversation.
And
But
I'm not from the South. I'm not gonna just start talking like I'm from the South when I'm from New York. Like,
let's save that for a second.
this is craziness.
But yeah, I just feel like men had to be men. Yeah, women are just like a lot less interesting because I feel like men have
Nowadays.
learned a lot more. Men can speak to a lot more art and all that kind of stuff, just feelings. And women, I feel like, just can now rely on more of their looks.
Yeah, and a lot of things now with women are so surface level because there's so much importance on looks and what bag you
Looks
got.
is anything, is it?
And so everything is so surface level now. Like that's why sometimes the best people to chill with is people who don't care about that type of stuff. Like
Top tier people.
I be having like the best times with girls that don't be wearing makeup, that don't care about any of that stuff because they're not sitting there worried about that. Like, oh, look at her hair over there, look at her bag, look at her shoes. Like I hate being around girls like that.
And that's why like I've always gone back and forth on like wanting to be around people that are into the things that I'm into versus being with people that are like completely different or into different things than me, because I don't take myself seriously at all. Like
Me neither.
anything that I do, like if I wear, like I could wear some crazy expensive jacket and crazy expensive shoes, I don't take myself as seriously at all. So like whereas somebody else that wore, like I have the Marjards still. I haven't sold them yet, unfortunately. But those are going for like $11,000 right now on Goat. I could put those on right now and go outside and not think anything different. Like I told you the other day, I ripped them by accident. Like I don't particularly care. I don't take myself very seriously.
some guys would be freaking out,
everybody else in that other, and if they were in that same scenario, would take themselves seriously. Like I got these, I got the Marjard. So for me, I'm always apprehensive about connecting with people that are into clothing and stuff like that because they would 1,000% take that serious.
It's rare to find somebody who's into clothing like you, but also feel the same way that you feel, chill about it, low key.
And the only people that are like that are the people that don't care about it.
Yeah.
That don't care about that kind of stuff because it's one of those things where it's what's a god to a non-believer kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like if they don't care about clothes, then
there's no idolization
it's just a jacket, it's just a pair of pants, it's just a
like
pair
at the end of the
of
day
shoes.
there's only so many materials that you use to make clothing and shoes.
Like it's not nothing
so
special.
the importance that people put over it is so crazy.
Yeah.
Like for me, and like this is especially for you because you care more about how it's made, so you care more about the integrity. This shoe is gonna last me my whole life, so that's the reason you won't buy a fake shoe. Not necessarily because it's a fake shoe, but because you respect the integrity of the real design. You respect the designer and the work that they put in to create this shoe, and you respect the shoe that's gonna last. And you don't respect fast fashion. That has nothing to do with you being like pretentious. It's just that you see the art and the lasting power of some of the things that you buy.
Yeah. What were you talking about?
We were just saying how that's how some of my best interactions with other girls, the girls that don't care about the and how the girls are surface level now. Everything's about looks, and that's why they're not interested anymore. Like I didn't have a lot of deep conversations with girls that really just are so like boy crazy and just care about their image. Like everything is so surface level. It's just what designer is this, and I want to buy this and this. It's like where is the conversation that like about life? Where is like the thing that matters? Like where the cool conversations? Like where why is everything about looks and we got to get men and we got to go to the club and be cute and get drinks? It's like I'm bored, Yeah. And that's why I do think that's why I think nowadays men are more interesting because men never really. I mean, men are like that too though amongst each other. I'm not gonna lie and say they're not. A lot of them are just as bad.
They're starting to get like that.
And they're starting to get like that, and I think it's just the influence of just social media. Social media is making everybody corny.
Let me see another vintage '90s tee fit with the Jordan 1.
Oh my god, with the basketball shorts
or dunk. Yeah, with the basketball.
With the dunks and the white socks. I'm like, people still dress like that. Like I saw somebody literally with a fit like that. I'm like, people still wearing that graphic tees with the shorts and the hats and the. I'm like, I thought we moved on from that.
Now I need to clarify this for our listeners because I think it might be confusing. Yeah. So I think you shouldn't
be a trend follower.
You shouldn't be a trend follower. If people are wearing something, you shouldn't wear it because people are wearing it.
Yeah.
And if people stop wearing something, you shouldn't stop wearing it.
But you could tell the people who are wearing it because they once saw that was cool and they're playing catch up.
That's my thing.
That's what I see through it because I'm like, oh, you could dress like this now because you finally got a big girl job. That's why you dressing like this now. That's why you couldn't dress like this in 2017. You really corny. You're not into it like that. You just trying to. You think you have an image in your mind of what streetwear looks like, when streetwear now has progressed way beyond that. Streetwear at a surface level was that. the ones, the
90s.
dunks. Yeah, the
Everyone
90s.
everyone keep it 100.
In the 90s.
In the
And
90s.
and it came back, but right now it progressed so beyond that, and people are still stuck on that because that's all they know, and they're playing catch up. You
It's
can
a
see
template.
through it.
It's a template.
It's easy. It's a
easy.
cheat code. You wear it, it's like, oh, you swaggy. It's like, nigga, you just got that shirt from Goodwill and brought those basketball shorts from what's called Dick's Sporting Goods. Like, you didn't put them effort. That's a cheat code. It's an easy way out to make yourself look fly. Like, and I can see through it. So we want to make that clear. We're not like judging people that follow trends. Say you got to follow trends and stay and wear Rick Owens now because it's trendy. No, I'm saying like you could tell people who they feel cool.
Don't wear Rick
They're
Owens.
like, I'm fly. Like they boost themselves up because they think they're following an image.
If you're wearing Rick Owens now, I'm actually judging you.
I know because
Because if you're wearing it, it's 100% because
the trend
of Rick Owens. Not just the shoes, but just the clothing in general, the jackets, all that kind of stuff.
Because people know they didn't like this stuff until they seen their favorite person wear it, and then they like it.
Yeah.
The same with those Balenciaga Crocs. No one didn't like those boots. When Kanye wore, they clowned it, but when Cardi B wore them, they were like, maybe they are cute. And now everybody's wearing them. It's like you could just see through it. It's easy to see through it. So
yeah. Bottom line, women are becoming increasingly less interesting.
Yeah. That's why
I miss it.
I miss it too. Like, remember how good have fun school, like high school and college was? Like, I feel bad for kids that grew up, and I feel bad for kids that are growing up in high school and college now, right?
Because it's all definitely just, yo, did you see so and so's TikTok?
Yeah.
It's like,
oh, you fly. Like, oh, this food is busting. Like, they just talk like
Bussin'.
internet talk. No, they just be internet talk. Like, oh, are those the dunks? It's like,
are those the dunks? Yeah, I'm sure.
Back then, we didn't care.
A Gen Z conversation probably sounds insane.
It probably sounds so surface level. They don't have no
Just mad
deep
slang,
talks.
which is okay because they're still kids, kind of. But like, it's probably hilarious to listen to.
The high school conversations probably like that too. It's probably just very surface level. Like,
What are they slang?
they be saying, what they be saying?
They'll probably string together a whole thing like the Riz was bussing.
Yeah, like, oh yeah, the unspoken Riz. Like, what? Like, they just be making up stuff.
It's funny.
Even though that might have roots in something else.
No, 100%.
That might be UK slang. From what I think I've read, but still, it's just it's a shame, and I'm actually scared. Like, I mean, every generation says this, and it's so dramatic, but this is something so different that no other generation has seen before. So like, this is something that we can't genuinely be scared of. Yeah. People are already weird. You see how people are around people nowadays. Everybody's just on their phone. Nobody knows how to talk anymore. So people are already becoming weird. That's why when I hang out with people, I usually be putting my phone away. Like, I'm like, we don't talk. I can be on our phones. We don't talk.
I'm so interested to see how it ends up. Can't wait.
Me too.
About 10 more years, 20 more, maybe 15 more years.
It's gonna be interesting. And the thing is, I'd be like, I don't care. I found a good person who's on surface level, and we be having good conversations, and I'm good. I don't care. Like, I told you, I already said this on my podcast. I'm selfish. You guys, good luck. I'm good. I'm set. So, good luck out there with your surface level thinking. And
to circle back, it's an interesting topic because I personally hate it because like part of the downsides of I believe in gatekeeping personally.
Me too.
So I'm kind of conflicted with this, right? Because when it comes to, I'm weird, right? So I believe in segmenting myself based on based on a situation. And to expound on what I mean by that, I am Jersey forever, right? So
yeah. Born, raised
in Jersey, Jersey club music, all the Jersey greats, all the great actors and athletes and musicians that came out of Jersey. Mm-hmm. I'm Jersey no matter what, right?
And we have a unique position where we grew up with Jersey club. Like, we grew up with it, we grew with it when it started into what it is now. We've seen it from the beginning.
Now, this isn't about Jersey club music specifically, but just Jersey in general, right? And then I'll also expound and expand based on other situations. So if we're talking about club music, then I'm also going to put my arm around the shoulders of Baltimore, DMV, and also Florida, the I-95 thing, because there is a certain I don't know how to explain it, like connection. Like, we all share like a common I-95 sort of like experience. People driving from Florida to Jersey to Florida, up and down I-95. It's a different experience than other parts of the country. Mm-hmm. So I will expand it there. And then when it
I
becomes,
actually just thought about that. Our coastline experience is different.
Yeah,
The West Coast is 2 states that make up the whole coastline. We have like 20
Right.
states.
and you would say that California people that are in that state typically are pretty much the same.
Yeah. I mean, they have South,
There are
North
some-
versus South.
Yeah, there are different in that sense.
Like
Yeah,
Bay Area versus like Compton. It's like there's gonna be different type of, but for the most part,
but
it's
in
still
general,
kind
it's
of
still
same,
California.
yeah.
Whereas the East
East
Coast,
Coast, we
you
got-
could have city folk and you could have
South Carolina, Georgia,
country
Florida,
country
yeah.
bumpkins. So it's
It's a
completely
unique
different.
experience. Yeah.
So sometimes I'm rolling with, like, when it becomes Jersey versus Philly in terms of the club battle right now, I'm
Jersey.
rolling with Jersey all day.
They be talking crazy. in those
But then when
comments.
people talk about club music as a whole nationally, I'm putting my arm around Philly. Like, they are still a part of that club culture. Now it's interesting because
they are.
because basically I get defensive over certain things.
Yeah.
So I get defensive over Jersey club music if somebody from Philly's talking about it, but if somebody from another part of the country
Yeah, or
is saying
world.
that something is
TikTok music.
then no, I'm putting my arms around Baltimore, who originated this shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, let's be very clear: Jersey did not originate club music.
Mm-hmm.
It was derived from Baltimore break beats, which you can still hear. If I could play, well, people wouldn't be able to hear it.
Yeah.
If you don't know what a break beat is, then go look it up.
Yeah, I know what it is.
Drum patterns in Baltimore.
Mm-hmm.
They made Baltimore club music. It came to 973 zip area code in New Jersey,
Mm-hmm.
Newark, Brick Bandits, all of them. They started making club music, and then whatever,
Yeah,
right?
J-Hood.
J Hood, all them,
Lil
Slink and Blessed, and all the people, all the originators.
Those were good times.
Great times.
It's funny too, cause I moved to Jersey before the Jersey Club boom, so I'm part of that.
So I embrace that, right?
Yeah.
Now, I will also embrace all of America when
Yeah.
when somebody from
Like the
over
UK when it was in that TikTok trend when they was making fun of how they talk with their teeth.
yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
it's like at least
embracing
so
America.
schools don't get shot up. Like,
It's like, all right, now
Yeah.
now I'm not playing with that, right?
like go get your teeth fixed. Don't be talking about America.
So it's interesting,
Or
basically.
like during the Olympics, we be proud. Like they'll be like, all of a sudden you got American pride during the Olympics.
Yeah. But basically, I was bringing all of this up because it is interesting, especially when it does come to music, because there is gentrification. Well, gentrification is not the word.
It's more so like appropriation.
No, appropriation within the different regions of the country when it comes to hip hop music, because I hold Jersey Club very close, and that's something I'm prideful in. It's from a place where I'm from,
Yeah, a lot of history in your hometown.
and I kind of, by default, may or may not claim some New York music, depending on how I feel. Because there's the New Jersey versus New York,
And
thing,
we're
too.
right there. Like sometimes I feel like this competition is so crazy because the river is like
We
you
can
could
see
walk.
it.
If there was land, we could walk to New York right now. It's right there. So sometimes they be
Yeah.
doing too much with the whole New York versus Jersey thing because it's right there. Like
Yeah, it's also not,
the Hudson River is this tiny.
and it's also not even really a competition.
It's not. Like yeah, there's slight differences. Even in how we talk, there's slight differences.
There's some pretty big differences,
Yeah.
like too. But I don't know what the competition is. I'm not really particularly sure. But basically, long story short, like when it comes to music, it's interesting because I'm very prideful and don't want anybody to touch Jersey club music. But it's interesting because when you listen to a lot of hip hop production in general, and even the way I make beats, I take so much influence from everywhere.
Yeah.
Like when my 808s are all from Atlanta, like every single one. Any 808 I've ever used is from some Atlanta producer. I've
Yeah.
never used the 808 from anybody else except Atlanta producers. My break beats and drum samples all from New York. That doesn't really count because we're right here. And then certain bops and snaps and like bass lines I get from the Bay Area.
Yeah.
So it's just very interesting.
I think
Because-
the issue is just people not crediting it.
Right.
Because that's when the appropriation, that's when I have an issue with it. Because if you're going to use something, give credit. Like when people say when Drake had the Jersey Club music, have a Jersey Club producer make the beat. Or if you want to bring Philly in, let them make the beat and then make that known. Like, shout out to
know-
Jersey, like that. Instead of making it seem like this is TikTok music or this is like now American music. Like, no.
Another good example of that was Iggy Azalea when she had the Fancy song. Now that was during the time when DJ Mustard was on the absolute tear. I was just thinking about that era earlier.
DJ Mustard era was crazy.
It was insane. It was literally insane.
Crazy.
Crazy
This
era.
streak was crazy.
And in the midst of that, she dropped Fancy, which has done crazy amount of numbers, which was, you would think, especially during that time, that was a DJ Mustard beat, which actually wasn't. It was basically the UK producer, I believe, ripped the Bay Area style.
That pattern.
That the bass lines, like the dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about,
Yeah. However the song goes.
Yeah,
Dun, 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 dun,
yeah,
dun.
it goes up, speeds up. Mm-hmm.
That was basically appropriated from Bay, and Mustard got mad, rightfully so. So it is interesting because when you talk about that sort of like appropriation of different regions. Now for me, because I feel like hip hop music and the country is all shared, right? Like drill music in Chicago influenced New York drill and all this. So there's a good blending of those different types of things. So I think it's quote unquote okay to have people from different regions in the country like sharing music and styles and things like that.
We still share the same homeland.
Right, exactly. So we share some sort
and
of
share
experience.
common experiences because a New York hood might feel similar to a Chicago hood.
Right.
Same type of experiences.
Same gangs that
rap
exist.
Rap is rooted in Black American experiences, which one of those is gang culture, the streets.
Yeah. Now within that,
that's a unique experience. Yeah, they have hoods in the UK, but it's not the same as here. You guys got knives. Like,
no, hold on. We're gonna get to them.
Like, they got knives.
Within that, though, even though I believe in the sharing of music and instruments and all that kind of stuff, I'm not using Philly slang. I know people in South Jersey do.
I would never say. What's that thing they always say?
Bull?
Yeah, B-O-U, right? Boo,
Yeah, bull.
boo. And I know they say something else, too.
Jit?
Yeah, jit. You would never hear me say jit, boo. Like, that's not me. Some people from South Jersey say it because they're right there. They border Camden. Like, Camden borders Philly.
Right, but it doesn't make sense to do that. Like, somebody from the UK, somebody from California, somebody from Texas, they shouldn't be using
jit.
Those phrases. Just like you were saying in the earlier, with people using
goofy,
period.
Yeah, period, yeah.
Like, that's a Florida thing.
Yeah, like, I used to, people used to say we used to say point blank period, or like, you would have a conversation like, oh yeah, like, blah blah, this is what happened, and like period, like that's it. Like, you would just say normal. It was no period. The hand movement, like people said period. Like, they didn't create the word, but the way her accent.
There's just certain phrases and things like that. So while we share music, I think one of the unfortunate parts is that slang is also shared. I would never.
Sorry to interrupt, but why are people in other countries saying y'all? Like, be for real. Why are they saying y'all?
Yeah, we can get to them in a
That's
second.
a southern U.S. thing.
No, we're gonna get to outside the country.
And they sound stupid when they say it.
We inside the country right now.
Yeah. Okay. Start local.
I'm not using California slang over here. It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, what they be saying over there?
I was trying to think of a phrase, but I don't know.
They have something I know that they say that's so specific to like the Bay Area.
Yeah, what is
and like LA. They be saying stuff over there too. I'll look it up real quick. Let's see.
I like California.
I like how they talk, like Nipsey.
I love it.
And like we were saying how like what's his name from Snowfall?
Yeah, I like LA.
I like their accent.
A lot.
It's like, I don't know.
And their bop, like they got like a certain like energy or vibe, kind of like.
I know they say like the land. Like they talk like, I think Los Angeles is called the land. Cause that's what that guy said from Memphis. He's like, how you repping Crip and Blood and ain't been to the land? Like the land is supposed to be like LA. Like why would you call like any area else in the country the land?
Yeah, I like a lot of their slang, but you just can't use that anywhere. You shouldn't use Atlanta slang in other places, in my opinion.
I know the word. You know what came from Cali? Hella.
Yeah.
And that became world. I say hella, but that came from them, Bay Area. Like, oh, that's hella this, hella
Whatever,
that. That came from 2010s, like Bay Area.
Yeah, hella definitely had a crazy run. It still gives you
that was like that
crazy run. Hella this, hella that.
Mm-hmm, that was a Cali thing.
Now the thing is, I stopped using hella and I just swapped it for mad, which is
we say mad,
mad crazy.
Yeah, I don't really say hella that much.
That.
I never really did because it just didn't seem right. Cause that's not what we're used to.
But in general, it just doesn't make sense. Like, why is the kid from like Missouri talking about something from the Bay Area? Like, it's like, I get it that everything is so shared now, but when it comes to speaking, we should leave that. Like, even music,
Because then
I don't like it.
Then things get erased.
Yeah,
then there's no distinction anymore.
I don't like the music thing, and like with like rappers from like Brazil or something like that using Atlanta style beats.
Yeah,
that to me is still weird because I would never rap on like a traditionally
Brazilian beat.
Yeah, or like a Mexican salsa type beat or whatever.
And that's what somebody said with black. No, but I see what you mean. That's what people say with Black American culture. Is that our culture, people don't really see us culture, so they just think like the K-pop people. They just take it, not realizing you're appropriating a whole culture. Like it would be just as how disrespectful it would be if black people just start making like Mexican like traditional music. That's our traditional music. People don't want to see it as that, but it's traditional music. It's our music.
And even if they're accepting of it, it still shouldn't be done.
It still shouldn't be done. Like it's not your culture. Like hip hop is rooted in black experiences. Nobody else should be making hip hop music. It started for our experience. Like that's it. So why you in Korea rapping? Please, like I'm sorry. Why you in Korea rapping? And then they try to dress like us too. It's appropriation. Like that's not how you guys dress over there.
That's a whole other conversation.
The baggy jeans. They try to do the 2000 style, like the hat to the side. Like it's just crazy. Nobody respects our culture, and that's why I'm so passionate about it. Because it's crazy. It's only us that it happens to. Cause let a Black American make a Korean music. We would get killed.
The one thing I will say about the UK is that most of them dress like they're going to play soccer.
No,
anyway.
UK, they have a distinct look.
Yeah.
Makeup wise, hair wise, fit wise, they have their own look, and you could tell. Like
when it comes to speaking, they also have because I've like
in it.
Like
What's in it?
I've learned a lot of like. We're not gonna make fun of it.
No. Sorry.
Yeah, stop doing that.
No, I'm saying, what does that mean though? In
it. Like, isn't it?
Isn't it? Oh, in it. Oh yeah, in it.
Yeah.
What
Just if
they
you would
say?
They say bruv instead of bruh.
Bruv, yes, they say bruv.
There's a lot. Like they have like a really in-depth slang sort of.
Even on social media, you ever see like they be talking to each other, they put XX at the end. Mm-hmm. I'm like, oh, they from the UK. I'm like, what's the XX mean? I don't know.
Hugs.
Hugs and kisses. It's just interesting because it's such a distinct thing for their region.
Right.
I always know it's them when I see that in the comments. I'm like, oh, someone from London.
To your point earlier, they shouldn't be using y'all.
Yeah.
Just like we don't use in it.
Yeah.
Right.
But they think they can because it's social media talk. No, and that's not, I wouldn't even say that's Black American talk because white people say y'all too. It's just Southern U.S.
Yeah, let's say Southern U.S. draw.
And it actually comes from like the poor whites because they didn't know how to speak. So it was you all.
Yeah, y'all.
Yeah.
So yeah, they shouldn't be using. They're not doing any drilling. Nobody's drilling in the UK. There's no they got gangs and stuff out there.
But they got knives. Like, come on.
And people get done crazy with knives.
They
over
do.
There.
But it'd be funny sometimes you see the street fights and like look like the 18, like, it look like the 1600s. They'd be like, shing, shing.
Yeah. But it's just like the slang that's specific to certain regions you shouldn't use in your neck of the woods. Now, while there's projects and hoods and stuff like that in the UK, nothing remotely close to America. At least in the UK specifically, nothing remotely close to the hoods that are.
It's not the United States experience.
It's not Detroit.
It's not Chicago.
It ain't Mississippi. I've been to all of the hood. I've been to
Brownsville.
No, not Brooklyn. It's not any of these places that are coming up with this terminology in the first place. Like when they're talking about drill music, talking about literally drilling a bullet into somebody's body. That's what drill music means.
But then they try to take credit for it. It's like.
No, they had drill music production.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna say they didn't have influence, but it's not yours.
But the whole concept of it was just Chicago
drill, yeah. That's where it started.
Yeah.
Connie said home of the drillers.
So.
Home of the drillers.
The Bears should change their name to the Drillers.
That would be too much.
Chicago Drillers? It's crazy.
That would be too much.
But yeah, people just shouldn't, like, as much as social media has made the world a more accessible place, there should be.
It's cool to be you.
Yeah, it's okay to still be you and appreciate other people's culture without trying to take over the culture.
Yeah. It's so whack. Like, you don't want there to be erasure. Like, you don't want everybody to talk the same. I like when you go to Florida and people can recognize that you're not from there. I like when you go to Cali and they can recognize you're from New York or New Jersey. Like, they could tell. If we all start talking like each other, no one's going to be able to tell anymore. It's going to be like... It's
TikTok culture.
Yeah, it's stupid. Like, why would you not want to be an individual and rep your area and have your slang?
Yeah, like even though Jersey made the hip dance, We ain't gonna talk about that.
Rock your hips too. It's not no hip dance. They be calling it hip dance.
Yeah, what is hip dance?
Or they call it stiff hips, right? What they be calling it?
It's
It's
the
rock
rest
your
of
hips.
the rest of the world calls it like hips,
Hips, yeah, they just call it hips.
but it's
literally just to rock your hips.
or it's as Philly would call it would be stiff hips.
They call it stiff, yeah. That's ours. In Philly
But-
they be irking me.
They do.
And they be admitting it too. They're like, yeah, we took it, but we made it better. We did it better. I'm like, so you admitting that you're a thief? Like that's not a flex. They just be irking me.
Anyway,
Have fun in Philly. I'd rather be in Jersey. No offense. I don't want to live there. Have fun.
you be taking shit personally.
Like, we flew over Philly today. We flew over Philly airport. I was like, let's just spit out the window.
Relax.
I'm joking. Oh yeah, let me.
Yes, you be taking shit too far.
It's a joke. It's a joke. It's like a friendly competition. It only gets bad when people really take. Some people take it to the heart when they be fighting on TikTok. It's friendly competition. It's just annoying though.
Well, it's not a competition.
Yeah, Jersey wins. They just think they took Jersey Club and made it better. That's their claim. That Philly club is Jersey Club enhanced and better and more polished. That's what they were saying on TikTok. They said
Philly club is more polished.
They said it's more. They said we took Jersey and stuff, and they said we took some of the dances. Yeah, they admitted it. They said we took some of the dances, and we made it better. We made it polished. We made it cool.
The dances.
They're like, why is it cool on TikTok now? Because of us. I'm like, no. The Jersey Club music banned viral on these apps. Like the Musically Girls was doing Hit It For Me One Time. That's Jersey. Like, please, they be trying to erase history. Let's not forget that.
Interesting.
That Hit It For Me One Time song was all over Musically. And a lot of Jersey Club music was all over Musically. Just recently, Philly is kind of getting some attention. Like, don't try to steal.
It's still on Jersey club music, like beats. That's the funny part.
It still is. It still samples.
No, like it's still Jersey club producers.
Songs, yeah,
itself that you're dancing to. It's interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, people should just remain yourself. Like even with us being in Jersey, there's certain New York slang that probably should just be left in New York.
Yeah. Even like let them have the Timbs. That's their thing. The Timbs is there. The drill music, the dancing, that's theirs. Like we're not gonna take that.
Yeah,
but a lot of Jersey people do have Jersey pride though. They don't even try to be like New Yorkers.
Right, but there's people in Wisconsin that are doing the New York drill step, doing all that. Like, don't do that.
Like, come up with your own stuff. Why you guys want to?
Well, then again,
somebody else's?
That's where it's tough because it's like that specifically is so New York that people probably shouldn't do it. But it's like if somebody comes up with a dance, like who's allowed to do it then?
I know. Because it still should be fun and everybody could join.
You know, but
it's just giving the credit. It's just giving the credit. Like
you shouldn't hear a West Coast beat and start crip walking if you're not a crip.
Yeah, I wouldn't even try to even learn how to crip walk. Because first of all, like you said, you're not a crip. First of all, second of all, that's a West Coast thing. Like I'm not even gonna try to learn it. Like because that's not my culture.
Now I could be wrong too, but there is the blicky twirl, which is a dance that incorporates bouncing and spinning in a circle, and you doing a hand motion. That's twirling.
And where did that start?
The blickies. Now
Chicago?
No, New York.
Oh yeah, the blickies.
Well, it was because the New York and Chicago twirl together, and that became their dances, like representing the connection between the two.
Yeah.
Now, part of that whole like what do they call it? I don't even know what they call
dancing?
it. Yeah,
I don't even know what it's called.
Getting sturdy.
Yeah, to get sturdy. Yeah.
Part of that is people twirling and stuff like that.
So that's rooted in the gang culture.
I believe that's what
where the music come out of. Like a lot of the music comes from gangs.
Comes out of Brooklyn. So I'm assuming that twirling thing is supposed to be what that is.
Yeah. And now you got people like you got people twirling, in Mississippi, like
Mississippi twirling, talking about like because that's like a GD and Blicky thing.
It's so weird.
So it's like
you got people throwing up gang signs, like especially the white suburban kids. Like you guys are playing a crazy game. Keep it up. Like you're gonna do that around the wrong person. Like it's not funny.
And everybody says that, and I know nothing ever really comes of it. But still,
look, people don't actually do it. They don't try it. They know not to try it. They be doing it online because they hide behind social media.
And where they will do it in New York, if they were to do that, it's
Times Square. They'll be doing it in Times Square.
Yeah, they're not going to.
You gotta go deep into Brooklyn.
You're not going to Ebbsfield.
They do nothing.
I was telling my grandma how Ebbsfield is now, because she used to go to the games over there.
So you gotta bring her. Let her see it.
Do you?
In a quick car ride. They're not gonna mess with a grandma.
Let me tell y'all something. All the listeners out there.
Babe, they're not gonna mess with a grandma.
I promise you I'll never go over there.
I grew up going to my grandma's house in East New York every summer, spending weeks there. Nothing ever happened. I never been touched. Nothing. Knock on wood. Nothing ever happened to my family.
It's not the
East
same.
New York is like the number 2, sometimes number 1 on some list, most dangerous neighborhood in Brooklyn. East New York, Canarsie, Bronxville, that whole strip near Queens, top 3 dangerous neighborhoods. Nothing ever happened to me there, not once, not once.
I just don't have no reason to go over there.
So as long as you're not really the only thing that's risky is just strays, honestly. Unless you're purposely doing something or getting robbed, strays is like the most dangerous thing for people who aren't involved.
Yeah, it's just like weird shit. Like, I'm hearing people say, "Oh, this person got smoked."
Yeah.
I want the smoke.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to hear ESPN commentators saying he wants all the smoke.
Yeah, because like I hate how stuff becomes, like you said, like online language. Like, it's not. Like, it's a culture. Like, let's respect people's cultures, because people think culture is like Chinese traditional dresses and Indian dresses and like the weddings. Like, no, culture is how you talk. Culture is how you eat. Culture is what you listen to and dance to. Culture is your music. Like, people view culture as being such an extravagant thing when it's really the most simple things. It's just a shared experience among people. That's what culture is. That's literally the definition of culture, a shared experience among people. So if you're trying to take a shared experience and apply it to yourself halfway across the world, where nobody around you talks like that, you're appropriating. Like, it's appropriation, and black people could appropriate too. There's no reason you're in Ghana saying y'all. No, I'm talking about black people could appropriate other black people.
Oh, yeah.
Like Africans, Caribbeans, they could appropriate Black American culture. We could appropriate their culture. Cause why are we wearing dashikis? And I don't know where I'm from in Africa. Why am I wearing African like clothing? You know, there's a difference between appreciation and appropriation. And appropriation, we take it and claim it as yours. Especially black people, we do it amongst each other because they think it's a black culture. We know there's multiple black cultures. Black culture is not one culture.
Right. New York culture in the black community is significantly
there's
different.
Even differences in America.
Than in NOLA or something. Or,
like, black American have our own multiple subgroups.
Or the Texas Cowboys. Like, there's something
or like the Gullah
different.
Geechee in South Carolina, or like the Louisiana Creole. There's so many of our own groups within the United States itself. There's no flat blackness. Like, it's just crazy.
But that's what I was saying. I'm like, depending on the scenario, I'm embracing certain things, right? Like, if we want to talk about just black culture in general from somebody from the UK, I'm embracing all
the whole country.
The whole country, all these
because they steal every bits and pieces of the black culture in the US.
Right.
They steal the LA stuff, the Atlanta stuff, the New York stuff. And they steal, because the whole US is cool. Every black culture within the US is cool.
Yeah, I just take what I feel is okay to represent based on my proximity. I wouldn't do, like, as much as I love the New Orleans bounce, and when it comes to music, like that, I don't even know how to describe that tempo, that bounce. I love that. I love percussion. I love drums. I love the soul in NOLA bounce. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't go down there and start doing like the dancing down the street.
You would go down there and admire and watch and be like, wow, this is nice. This is cool. Like, I'm learning something new. Yeah, like, this is fire. This is not me, but this is fire, and this is still black culture.
I'm not going to come up here and you're going to see me doing the NOLA bounce down the street. Mm-hmm. You're not going to see me go out to California and be like, oh, I like the way they do this dance, and I'm now going to start talking.
What's that thing they did, the sneeze? They used the sneeze dance. That's like a Cali thing.
Sneeze.
What's it called, like the sneeze?
Wasn't it Schmeeze or something?
I thought it was sneeze.
It's not sneeze.
It might have been sneeze or something. Yeah. Like, that's their thing.
Yeah.
And like, if you're a dancer and you want to learn it, cool. But appreciate it and give credit where you like. Oh, this is like, you can even say like, this is, you post a dance video on Instagram. Just maybe say credit it. Try to find the originator who created the dance, or even if you can't find it, say shout out to California. It's so simple. Just drawing the line in the sand so people, that stuff doesn't get erased, because we don't want these cultures to be erased.
One thing I would appreciate is there was one J Hood song that went. It's old, but it got popular on TikTok when I forget what it's actually called. The gun reload thing.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
It's called Tote. Yeah, and it's like J Hood, and it's like Jersey. It's like Jersey, and then everybody starts doing like the hand motions and stuff like that. But most of the people that I saw posting that, obviously, of course, it was mostly the white people that probably felt awkward doing it anyway. They were all like, "I'm not from Jersey, but blah blah blah."
And that's why something that I love. Like, I love when people at least give appreciation. Like, I seen a TikTok the other day where it was like somebody does American slander, and they were showing what people in each part of the country do, and they were like people in Brooklyn somewhere. It was just somebody doing the sturdy dance. So I'm like, okay, see, I like this. Like, at least like it's like people from New York be like, and they're at least representing what New York is instead of trying to steal it. Like, I can respect that. Like, that's what I'm saying. There's nothing wrong with appreciating culture, because culture is cool to be shared, and it's cool for us to share it, but at least just keep it at its base. You can go experience it, but don't try to take it. Don't try to make it yours. And that's when I have an issue.
Yeah.
There's absolutely no reason somebody in Indonesia is saying y'all. I'm sorry. There's no reason. They were saying y'all with an accent. It don't even sound right. I don't say y'all. I type it out sometimes because, and I've heard it growing up because my mom is was raised by a Mississippi. My grandma's from Mississippi, so my mom says y'all because that's what my grandma said. My grandma would say y'all come here, y'all. So but I don't say it really that much because it's not really a part of my vernacular, because where I grew up kind of was part of it, but I still had it in my household. So for me, it's a little weird sometimes if I say it, but I don't ever say it out of my mouth usually. Sometimes I type it out, which could still be appropriation. It's like online blackfishing. People always say like you appropriate online. So yeah, sometimes I'm like, yeah, maybe I shouldn't be saying y'all if typing out if I don't say it verbally. But it's like, at least I have some type of foundation to it being in my household. It's like the same thing where it's like, how do your parents talk at home? Like, you have these girls that like talking like they'll say, oh, I have black friends. But how do you talk at home? Your parents don't talk like that. So like, let's see how you talk around them. Cause I know the accent be changing, right? It's like, you don't talk like this around them. So yeah. It's just crazy. Like they sound dumb. Like they be having a whole thick accent. And be like, y'all. I'm like, no, that don't even sound right. Why are you saying that? Come on, like, be for real. Why are you saying that? So, I know we're cool. I know the United States is cool and everybody looks up to us. And black people are, like, just cool. Black Americans are cool. But copying is creepy. And it's disrespectful. Be yourself. 'Cause that's where most of the appropriation happens from. If you think about it. It happens.
That's where all the appropriation happens, because you don't see somebody from Korea emulating Mexican music.
No, because it's not mainstream or cool. Like, it's cool. I think their music's cool. I mean, cool.
You don't hear no Japanese African music.
No, you don't. And like, yeah, sometimes the appropriation does happen out of the way. Like you said, black people, we sometimes, like, you see the girls,
but it's like
the
barely
chopsticks.
though.
Yeah, it's
like the Asian characters.
Yeah, like some of the girls will do like
tattoos.
The anime culture is heavy.
For sure. If you want to,
but I don't know. It still kind of could be appropriation. Depending on what you do. Can you have the girls, like white girls or even black girls, that will make themselves, they'll try to make themselves look Asian instead of just doing their own features and wearing outfits. The outfits, I think,
that's interesting. Is cosplaying
appropriation? I think it can be. I think it's based off the intent. Yeah, you know the anime culture is huge.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people from all races that love the culture. And like,
that's a tough one. I don't actually know how I feel about that.
Right? Because it's still their culture. It's anime Japanese culture.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like...
actually derived out of World War II.
Yeah, interesting. And yeah, I mean, it could be appropriation, right? Low key. You got to keep the same energy, right?
Oh no, for sure. That's the
I'm saying,
and that's what we were saying. What I was saying before. I'm like, I don't exist on an extreme, so like, it's okay for I'm not, because people will be like, feel like they can't do any wrong, and their opinion never seems to critique themselves ever. I'm more than open to saying.
Yeah, I'd be dragging myself.
Like, yeah, Jersey took Baltimore club music and turned it into something completely different. Yeah. And did it a lot better than Baltimore.
We still did copy them.
And Philly copied Jersey, and they just didn't do it as bad as Jersey. But
yeah, so I can't be, sometimes we can't be mad at Philly because we did the same thing.
But the hip dance is tremendous, even though it came from us.
Yeah.
But still.
They got a little twist to it. They do a little.
Yeah, they got their own shit.
It's a little different. The stiff hips are slightly different than rocket hips.
One thing that we can all agree with is that Florida, they ain't got it.
Yeah. I think the whole country agrees. We wanted to cut Florida off. No,
I love Florida, but
Florida's club music makes me get anxiety. I was like, what is this? The beat just be like what is this?
170 beats per minute. Like, it's just way too fast. It's like, one thing that's interesting is I wonder if it has any correlation to New Orleans.
It could.
Music.
That southern.
Because it's almost New Orleans music if it was like sped up like OD.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the way I feel about it. I'll have to do more research.
Go to New Orleans.
Yeah.
That's a whole different black cultural experience I haven't experienced.
Nah, for sure. The French Quarter.
Yeah, the Louisiana Creole. I need to see it. I need it.
It is very different.
Maybe next year we'll go.
Yeah.
We had a lot of trips to do.
Yeah, I gotta write them all out.
I know.
But
we need our board. We need our touchscreen.
Yeah, I need my pin board, but also need the touchscreen to plan out all our things.
We have too much to
The one thing I could do is possibly get a cabinet built and then put an iPad in it. That's like a cheaper way to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. But I kind of want a big screen. I want it to be the size of this table. Oh, by the way, Denise was saying if we wanted to sell the table, she'll buy it from us.
For real? Mm-hmm. Tell her she could buy it right now.
Yeah, I tried to describe her how it looked. I told her we wanted to redo it.
Take a picture and send it to her right now.
Yeah.
Because I want this out of here. Please take the... Does she want the couch? Does Amira want this couch?
Nah, because she has different style. She's trying to go for that, like...
The white?
Like the what's trendy now, like the tans and the greens, the earthy look, like Diara's house. Yeah,
we got to get rid of all this stuff.
But yeah, I mean, this table will be about to... I'll ask her if she wants it.
It's not beat up. There's scratches
it's just
in it, but it's not like... It's not bad.
It's not as bad as I thought. I'll be like, hey, if you're serious about buying well, how much we selling it for?
50.
Yeah, I mean, that's not bad. I think she'll probably buy it.
Yeah, this was what, 120? Something like that?
I bet, yeah.
Then we're going to get our stone.
The stone one.
Marble.
That we should have got originally.
The low one, yeah. Then they're not.
And then the black couch. We need to redo this.
We have to redo everything.
We're going to make it hard.
I don't even want these.
I kind of don't want it either. I don't want the plants, too.
I don't want the plants.
We're going to get real plants.
The TV stand is okay.
TV stand's fine, yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna redesign.
We're gonna redesign this. We keep the chairs too. The chairs are fine, I think.
And I don't want that table in the front. I never liked it since it's been. It looks cheap. It's like. And
it's a little rock.
Yeah, it shouldn't shake.
I had the right intention, but
it shouldn't shake when you bump into it.
I think I had the right intention, but it just.
Yeah. Anyway, you got anything else?
No.
All right, thank you guys for watching. This has been...
I want to shout out our peoples, and we keep being cool. Obviously, we're doing something right. I think imitation is the sincerest and the highest form of flattery. So at its core, it's because we're doing something right and we're cool, and we're the chosen people. So whatever, I'll take it. But put some respect on the names. That's all.
Thank you guys for watching. This has been the A Couple of Complainers podcast.
Did we complain today?
We complain. Well, that's what our whole podcast is, complaining.
I think that's fine. People like outrage. So we
should get some guests on here.
I know we should.
We need to get some randoms.
We should.
So I could cook them.
No, because we start debating. Because that's the thing. We have, like you said, our opinions we usually agree. So it's kind of hard to have a debate on here.
We used to not agree on certain topics.
We used to not. But we don't really talk about those topics. We talk about the things that we talk about. We agree a lot on. So maybe we need to start bringing up topics we don't agree on next week.
Yeah.
So we can argue.
I'm gonna turn this whole place upside down.
I mean, we've had disagreements on here before, though. We had some disagreements. I remember one time I promoted the pod. I was like, "You guys want to see me and Alex kind of fight? This is what it looks like. This is what our fights look like." So I forgot what we were disagreeing on.
I was like, "You're not qualified to talk about music."
You said that to me?
Yeah.
Oh. I've been forgetting we have too many episodes at this point.
Because you were trying to argue with me about the Kanye 808 comment.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm not qualified. I agree. I listen to music on a very surface level. I just like what I like, and I'm not really that educated in music. And I can admit that.
It made me so mad.
Yeah, because you be making me mad.
No, it made me mad because I'm like, yo, it's science. Like, there's no... Yeah.
I got COVID.
Goodbye.
My lungs feel like they're filling with fluid. Is that a symptom?